Hey, did you know that the tiniest slip-up in your evening routine could be the reason your baby's up at 4 a.m. screaming like it's party time? I'm not kidding. 4 common mistakes, so easy to make, might be wrecking your little one's sleep. And let's be real, your sanity too. We're talking late bedtimes, wonky wake-ups, and cozy traps that backfire. Stick with me, because I've been through the midnight madness, and I've got the hard-earned fixes to get your whole family some shut-up. Let's kick things off with a curveball. Ever thought your own bedtime could be the villain here? Picture this. You're tiptoeing into the room at 10 p.m., thinking your stealth mode activated, only to hear that tiny whimper start. Heart racing, you freeze, praying they don't spot you. I've been there, sprawled on the floor, holding my breath, because if they catch a glimpse, it's game over. Mama, mama! And boom, they're wide awake. Here's the kicker. It's not just bad luck. Babies cycle through light and deep sleep, just like us. In light sleep, a creaky floorboard or a sliver of hallway light can yank them right out of dreamland. But in deep sleep, they're out cold, practically unshakable. The trick is timing your entry for when they're in that deep zone. For newborns under 3 months, sleep cycles run 20 to 50 minutes. Over 3 months, it's 60 to 90 minutes. Light sleep hits at the start and end of these cycles, so peek at your baby monitor before you sneak in. Still as a statue? Go for it. Squirming or cooing? Wait it out. Shift your bedtime just 15 minutes earlier or later to hit that sweet spot, and you'll cut the odds of a wake-up disaster. I started doing this after one too many nights of playing human statue, and let me tell you, those first uninterrupted hours of the night felt like winning the lottery. But timing's just the start. There's more sneaking around in your daily habits that could be messing things up. Ever wonder if that toasty room you're so proud of is actually the enemy? Let's dig deeper into why your baby's sleep feels like a never-ending puzzle. First, the basics. Babies aren't mini-adults when it comes to rest. Their biology is wired differently, and if we don't play by those rules, we're setting ourselves up for rough nights. Sleep cycles are key. Those light and deep phases I mentioned, they dictate how easily your little one can be jolted awake. Then there's the circadian rhythm, their internal body clock, which isn't even a neat 24 hours. It's slightly longer, meaning it needs a daily reset, or it's like they're stuck in permanent jet lag. Mess with that rhythm, and you've got delayed naps, bedtime battles, and those brutal 5 a.m. wake-ups where their brain thinks it's 7 a.m. Now let's unpack the 4 mistakes that trip up so many of us, starting with room temperature. I used to crank the heat, thinking a warm, snug space would lull my baby right to sleep. Wrong. Their core body temp needs to drop about 1 degree Celsius. That's 1.8 Fahrenheit to trigger sleep. It's a biological signal. That dip tells their brain to release melatonin, the sleepy hormone. Too warm and you're fighting nature. They toss, turn, wake up more, and miss out on deep, restorative rest. Aim for 18 to 22 Celsius, or 65 to 72 Fahrenheit. I dropped our thermostat to 68 after reading this, and the difference was night and day, pun intended. They settled faster, stayed down longer. Next up, inconsistent wake-up times. After a brutal night, I'd let mine sleep in, thinking we both deserved it. Big mistake. That messes with their body clock reset. You need to wake them at the same time daily within a 30-minute window and get light exposure, sunlight if possible, or bright indoor lights if it's a dreary winter morning. I started pulling back the curtains at 7 a.m. sharp, even on weekends. And within a week, naps and feedings fell into a rhythm. Bedtime got smoother, too. I've seen this work wonders, not just for me, but for countless parents I've walked through this with. One mom swore her toddler was just a bad sleeper until she stuck to a 7:15 a.m. wake-up and morning light routine. 2 weeks later, no more 5 a.m. meltdowns. The science backs this. Light signals the brain to start the day, syncing that internal clock. Ignore it, and you're stuck with a baby whose schedule is pure chaos. But even with perfect timing and temps, there's a bigger trap waiting if you're not careful. Something so obvious, yet so easy to skip. Here's where it gets juicy. What if the way you're putting them down is the real sleep saboteur? I'm talking about bedtime routines, or the lack of one. I used to wing it. Rocking one night, singing the next. Sometimes just pacing the room like a zombie until they passed out. Nothing worked consistently. Then I stumbled on this idea that babies need a runway to sleep. Like a plane doesn't just drop out of the sky. Their brains, soaking up every sound and sight all day, can't flip from wide awake to snoozing in minutes. They need a predictable wind down to signal their nervous system it's time. That's when I tried a set routine. Bath at 7 p.m., pajamas on, a quick storybook with soft voices, a lullaby, then lights out. Same order, same time, every night. First night, meh. Second, still rough. But by night 3, something clicked. Their little body started recognizing the pattern, releasing melatonin right on cue. Research from sleep experts like Mindell shows this isn't just luck. Babies with consistent routines fall asleep faster, wake less, and sleep longer. I saw it myself. After a week, bedtime went from a 45-minute battle to a 15-minute breeze. Here's the twist. Skip this, keep switching things up, and you're telling their brain to stay on high alert. No wonder they fight sleep. I've heard from parents who thought routines were too rigid until they tried it. One dad told me his 18-month-old went from hourly wake-ups to sleeping 6 straight hours after 5 nights of a simple bath, book, bed sequence. The data says stick with it at least 3 nights, but I'd push for a full week to lock it in. If you're wondering what a good routine even looks like, start small. Pick calming steps, maybe a warm washcloth wipe down if baths are a hassle, a favorite stuffed toy to cuddle, a whispered story. Keep it under 30 minutes so it's doable even on your most exhausted nights. The consistency is what flips the switch in their brain, not the fancy extras. But let me warn you, even with all this dialed in, there's one more piece to the puzzle that'll make or break your nights. Now, let's hit the heart of it all. The biggest game changer I've found after countless sleepless nights and desperate Google searches. It's not just about avoiding these mistakes. It's understanding how they stack up against your baby's wired-in needs and nailing the fix with precision. Let's circle back to all 4, because missing even one can unravel the rest. First, my bedtime timing blunder. I learned to sneak in during deep sleep, using that baby monitor like a secret weapon. I'd wait until I saw no twitches, no little arm flails, just pure stillness, usually about 90 minutes after they went down. That cut early night wake-ups by half. Then room temp. I used to bundle mine up in a 75-degree room, thinking cozy equals sleepy. Nope. Dropping it to 68 degrees, I noticed they stopped waking sweaty and fussy at 2 a.m. Science says that 1 degree body temp drop is non-negotiable for melatonin to kick in, and overheating blocks it. I even got a cheap thermometer to keep tabs. Don't guess, measure. Third, wake-up consistency. I gritted my teeth and woke them at 7 a.m. daily, even after a 3 a.m. circus. First few days were brutal. But by day 5, their naps aligned, bedtime fights eased, and those pre-dawn wake-ups faded. Light exposure was clutch. Dragging the high chair by the window for breakfast, or stepping onto the porch for 2 minutes, worked magic. Studies confirm morning light resets that longer than 24-hour clock, syncing their rhythm. But the heavyweight champ? That bedtime routine. I'll never forget the night it finally clicked. Day 4 of bath, story, song, bed. I laid them down, half expecting a meltdown, but they just sighed, eyes drooping within 10 minutes. My jaw dropped. Research backs this hard. Mindell's studies found routines cut night wakings by over 30% in toddlers. I've seen it transform families. One couple was at their wits' end with a 1-year-old who took an hour to settle. 5 nights of a 20-minute routine, dim lights, white noise, a quick cuddle, and they were down to 15 minutes, sleeping through till 6 a.m. Here's the nitty-gritty. Start your routine 30 minutes before their ideal sleep time based on age. A 6-month-old might need 7:30 p.m. A 2-year-old, 8 p.m. Pick 3 or 4 calming steps. No screens, no high-energy play. Keep the room darkish, maybe a soft night. If they fuss, don't ditch the plan. Tweak it gently. Swap a song for a back rub if they're overstimulated. Consistency trumps perfection. I've walked parents through this who swore their kid was different, only to see 180-degree turnarounds in under 2 weeks. The logic is ironclad. Babies thrive on predictability. Their brains crave cues to downshift. Miss these cues, whether it's a too warm room, a late wake up, or a chaotic bedtime, and you're swimming upstream against biology. Nail them, layer by layer, and you're not just fixing sleep. You're giving your baby the rest their growing body begs for, and yourself a sliver of peace. But let me share one last moment that made me laugh and cry all at once. Because parenting, well, it's a wild ride. All right, let's take a breather with a little story that'll make you nod and maybe snort a laugh. Because we've all had those "what am I even doing" moments. Picture this. It's 9:45 p.m. I'm bone tired after a day of diaper disasters and tantrum triage. I think I'll just slip into bed early, they're out cold. I creep toward the bedroom door, ninja style, avoiding every squeaky floorboard I've memorized. I ease the handle down, inch by inch, holding my breath like I'm defusing a bomb. Doors open. I'm halfway in, and then whistle. A tiny head turns. My heart stops. I drop to the floor faster than you can say nap time, sprawled out like I'm in a war zone, praying those little eyes don't lock on me. Because if they do, it's "Mama, up now," and I'm done for. I'm lying there, face smushed into the carpet, thinking, this is my life now. I'm a human rug. Minutes tick by, feels like hours, until I hear that soft, steady breathing again. I army crawl out, dignity long gone, but victorious. Here's the thing. I didn't know back then about sleep cycles and deep sleep timing. If I'd waited just 20 minutes for that deep phase, I could have walked in whistling and not stirred a peep. I laugh about it now, but man, in the moment, I was half laughing, half crying at how absurd it felt. It's those raw, messy nights that bond us as parents, right? We're all out here dodging wake-ups like landmines, hoping for just one solid stretch of quiet. But that night taught me something. Timing isn't just a tip, it's survival. I started peeking at the monitor, waiting for stillness, and never played floor commando again. Those little wins, they stack up. And honestly, sharing these ridiculous moments with other bleary-eyed parents over coffee, or let's be real, endless text threads at 3 a.m., reminds me we're in this together. The sleep struggle is real, but so is the camaraderie. We've got stories for days, don't we? all the stealth missions and whispered lullabies. They're badges of honor in this wild parenting gig. So let's wrap this up with the big picture, because you've got enough on your plate without overthinking every detail. Here's the bottom line. Your baby's sleep doesn't have to be a mystery or a misery. Avoid these 4 traps: mistiming your bedtime, overheating their room, skipping consistent wake-ups, and ditching a bedtime routine. And you're halfway to dreamland. Time your moves for deep sleep phases. Keep the room at 65 to 72 Fahrenheit. Wake them same time daily with light exposure, and lock in a calming, predictable wind down. It's not rocket science. It's just tuning into their biology. Stack these fixes. Stick with them, even when it's tough, and you'll see nights transform for your little one and for you. If you found these insights hit home and want more real talk tips to navigate this parenting chaos, hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way to keep me motivated to share more hard tips. 1. Lessons. Oh, and one last thing. Which of these sleep mistakes caught you off guard the most? Drop it in the comments. I'm dying to hear, and I might just pop in with a quick fix tailored for you.